Hello, hello, my name is Shweihninzy and today we're going to be testing out some new products that I recently hauled in my new drugstore 2021 makeup haul, and I'm going to be testing the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator Tinted Skin Veil in this video today, along with some of the other products that I hauled in that video. This is mainly a Wet n Wild focused video, so if you guys want to see how I created this look with the new Wet n Wild products that I hauled, just keep on watching. I am beyond excited to test out these new products for you guys. So I'm going to be using today the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. So this is supposed to be a sheer to medium coverage, like tinted moisturizer type of situation, tinted skin veil it says, and from other people's videos I've seen it actually has a pretty decent coverage, and you guys can see I do have acne and scarring. I'm breaking out a lot. I've been trying this other cleanser thing and I think it's making me break out and have more texture like in the center of my face, like where I've been putting it. The product is so good. It's a Japanese cleanser, so you can't get it here, you can only get it in Japan. It's a really good cleanser and I like it, but I think it breaks me out. So it's like one of those like the Huda Beauty Wish cleanser where it like balls up and gets rid of all the dead skin, but this one actually gets rid of the dead skin and it's just super satisfying, makes your skin super soft, but it doesn't agree with me, unfortunately. So this is what we are working with today, and I got mine in the color light, but it does look a little bit on the, I don't know, orangey side, a little bit darker than I was expecting it to be. So we've got this, and you guys know I love applying any type of foundation with a brush or a sponge. So Wet n Wild does have a sponge. I'm not sure if this is new or not, but this is the Wet n Wild makeup sponge. It says this Holy Grail blending sponge flawlessly applies makeup for professional looking finish. So I'll be using this and the Sigma F80, which is a flat top kabuki brush, which I absolutely love so much. We'll also be using the Wet n Wild Mega Last Incognito Concealer. This is in the color Fair. The light one looked a little too dark online, but this is definitely going to be real pale for me, so we'll try this out today as well. We've got the Brow Obsessive Tinted Brow Gel in the color Brown. We've got the Wet n Wild eyeshadow palette in the shade Lights Off. This is the Lights Off version of the palette, so I'll be using that as well. I'm excited. Let's dive in. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyeshadow first, just in case there's any fallout. So I'm gonna go ahead and do one eye off camera and I'll be right back. All right, here is the makeup that I did on this eye. I ended up actually using the e.l.f. brush set that I picked up in my haul. It's the e.l.f. Smoky Eye brush set, and this definitely turned into a dark smoky eye. The colors in this palette are a lot darker, not as daytime appropriate, but who cares? Wear whatever kind of makeup you want to wear during the day. So this is how it turned out. It's really pretty, but I'm not sure if it was these brushes specifically. I'm not a huge fan of how they blended out the eyeshadows, so it might be just the brushes or maybe it's eyeshadow. I'm not too sure, but I did have a little bit of hard time blending out some of these colors. So I'm going to go in with this eye blender brush from the e.l.f. set, and I'll be using this gray taupe color right here, and this is going to go in my crease, mainly like above the brow bone here. And I already have eyeshadow primer on, and I put the Incognito concealer on my eyelid as a base. I'm blending this color pretty high onto the brow bone. Next, I'm taking this brush. This is the blending brush from the eye set, and I'm going in with this dark brown shade here, and this is going in my crease. And then what really drew me to the palette was this dark green shade up here. It's super pretty. I ended up going in with the eyeshadow C brush, and this is going like on my outer third This color is so pigmented, like look at that, and just so pretty. So I really wanted this shade to be on my lid or on my eye in some way. And then using this tiny little small precision brush, it's like a really great like cut crease brush. I'm going in with the concealer and picking up some of that concealer to cut my crease here, but just mainly it's like my inner third here. This is going to be the base for the sparkly shade that's going to go in the inner third. And I took a mixture of these two shades. Oops. I took a mixture of these two shades in the palette. I felt like they didn't pick up on the brush that well. If you can see, this one has like a green undertone and that one is more sparkly, so I just, there you can kind of see the duochrome there on this top shade. So taking both of those, and that's going on top of the concealer. And then I'm going back in with the dark green shade just to blend those two together. And then you guys know my favorite trick. I like taking a pointed Q-tip or a regular Q-tip and just some micellar water or makeup remover, and I just clean up the edge here. But that's the look. I think the eyeshadow is really, really pretty. I don't think I'm going to be keeping this palette. It's not the best. I don't think I'll be gravitating towards it at all, but it is definitely very pigmented. This is a great, cheap, smoky eye palette for sure. I definitely recommend Wet n Wild eyeshadows. There was another palette that I really liked. It was more warm tone, so I probably would have kept that one if I ended up liking it, but just personally, I don't think I'm going to keep this. And I'm not a fan of these brushes that much, and I think this brush set was like $14 or something like that, or 10, I can't remember. I think it's kind of pricey for these brushes. They're all right. They're not the best, but I think the Wet n Wild brushes are better than these e.l.f. ones. And I have a bunch of the Wet n Wild brushes. I love these. These are the, like, they're like 99 cents. Love those brushes. So I don't know if I'm gonna hold on to that. I went ahead and wet the sponge, and this thing grew pretty big. Like, it's very squishy and soft, so I'm excited to test this out. And like I said, I'm using the Sigma F80 on the other side of my face. So let's see how this looks. Yeah, and the shade range on this was horrible. So Wet n Wild, what you doing? Oh yeah, this is definitely too dark for me. And this is light, because the fair looked too pale. This is definitely orange on me. The coverage on this isn't terrible, but there's just one coat, and it's not like horrible. It's not horrible. Let's try the other side of my face. Oh yeah, you definitely get a lot more coverage with the brush. This shade makes me look like an Oompa Loompa. Oh my goodness. So I'm gonna go ahead and build up more on this side with the brush, just to get as much coverage as we can to see how much we can actually get, because you can definitely still see my redness and my acne peeking through. This is definitely gonna have to be blended down the neck. It's a little bit better. Like, my face is crazy orange right now. All right, let's go in with the concealer. It felt nice on my eyelids. Oh yeah, this is super pale. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to blend this out real good. Dark foundation and super pale concealer. I'm gonna go in with the hard candy powder since this is a drugstore powder, but it is very messy. But it's just like a really finely milled translucent white powder. I think I'm going to use a little bit of my Maybelline SuperStay powder that's a little bit light so that I can tone this down a little bit. Got powder everywhere. I'm just going to take a big brush and sweep away that extra powder. Everything looks pretty good. It's definitely settling into the lines on my forehead, if you can see that. So I'm not a fan of that. It's making me look extra crusty. Not cute at all. Let's go in with the eyebrow. So this is the Browsessive brow shaping gel, and this is tinted. So I got mine in the color brown. I feel like there's hair on my face somewhere. Here is what it looks like. It's just a really tiny spoolie. And I'm gonna let that dry while I'm doing the rest of my eyes. So I'm gonna go in with this angled brush, and I'll be going in with that green shade here, and that's going to go under my eyes. The concealer is definitely settling into the lines under my eyes. If you can see, it's just looking kind of crepey, so I don't know if it's the concealer or if it's the powder, but I haven't had issues with the hard candy powder doing that to my concealer before, so it might be the concealer that's doing that. It doesn't feel, my eyebrows don't feel crunchy or anything, like they've set, which is surprising. I kind of like how it sets in place, like with my Sigma one, but these aren't setting in place. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup off of camera. I'm going to put some eyeliner on and some lashes, and I'll do the rest of my face. I don't have any like Wet n Wild face products to test, so I'll go ahead and do all that off camera, and I'll be right back. Alright, I am back, and the sun is like peeking through a little bit, but I was gonna blow dry my hair, and then I was like, oh, I kind of like the slick back, dark hair kind of look. I don't have like gel or anything in my hair, but you know how like some Hollywood stars, they slick their hair back and they're all like, oh yeah. So I thought I would try and, I don't know, do that look for you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the Wet n Wild matte lipstick. Like I said, I'm not sure if these are new or if it's just new packaging, but I got mine in the shade Bare It All, which sounds like a shade that they've had in the past. So I would assume that this is one that they've had before. Oh, I just opened that up just like that. So here is the color here. So let's go ahead and put this on, and it goes very well with our smoky eye look right now. I've never worn any of the Wet n Wild matte lipsticks before, I think, so, and this is, wow, very matte. Ugh, like it's kind of hard to put on. Oh my goodness, she is matte, she is there, and here is the finished look. I went ahead and set everything with my favorite drugstore setting spray. This is the Catrice HD Active Performing Freezing Spray. I absolutely love this stuff, and just because I was getting like the foundation settling into my forehead lines, I didn't really like that look, and it was looking a little bit dry and kind of crusty, so I went ahead and set the face with the spray to help with that. And here is what we have right now. I have the Urban Decay highlighter on in Sin right now, and I have the Essence Contour Duo palette on with a little bit of a Juno & Co bronzer. I ended up filling in just like this under part here with my favorite drugstore eyebrow pencil, which is the LA Girl brow pencil, recommended to me by my girl Mora by Mita. She is awesome. I'll leave her channel link down below. So I love that brow pencil. This is the completed look. I'm going to do a wear test today just to see how this ends up holding up on my combination skin. You guys know that I am oily in the T-zone, dry on the outside of my face, and you guys know I have sensitive skin. So I'm excited to see how this all turns out, but this is definitely a little orange for me. When I was blending and going into like other parts of my apartment, I was like, oh, she a little orange. She don't match. But that's what we're working with right now. I also have the Glamnetic lashes on, as well as my eyelashes. I didn't feel like messing with glue and all that stuff, which is really nice about the magnetic lashes. You don't have to mess with glue and all that stuff. But I'm still on the fence about it, because if you don't apply the lashes like at the right time, the magnets won't stick to the eyeliner, which is a little bit frustrating, and I'm not a fan of this eyeliner at all. It's like really hard to work with, and yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. The time right now is 3:12, if you can see there, so a little bit later in the day. I actually probably got finished doing my makeup around 2:45, probably, doing my foundation. So we'll say 2:45, because then I ended up doing the rest of my face. So we'll say 2:45, and I'll check back in with you guys to let you know how this ended up wearing throughout the day. Hello, it's 10 o'clock at night, and I have had the foundation on for what, less than 8 hours. And I actually wore a mask. I went out and ran some errands with my boyfriend, and I wore a mask, and I'm pleasantly surprised. There was barely any transfer at all. I ate dinner, so my lip is a little bit messed up. But let's go ahead and zoom in here. And here is the foundation. I am actually pleasantly surprised. I'm not sure if it's because of my setting spray or anything, but everything still looks amazing. Like, can we just look at the highlights still? And everything settled into my lines really well. Wow. I am definitely surprised, and the color actually ended up kind of oxidizing a little bit, but to my benefit, and everything ended up going into my skin pretty well. I mean, I got a little bit of transfer on my nose from the mask, but otherwise everything still looks really, really good. It looks healthy in my opinion, and I am shocked. And it still feels like, it doesn't feel like it's transferring or anything, so I'm not sure if it's the combination of the powder I used, like I said, and the setting spray, but wow, the combinations of products I used today stayed on my face really well. I definitely give this a thumbs up. So thank you all so much for watching today's video. If there's anything else you want me to review, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Shweihninzy, and I'll see you guys next time.